What's up, guys? My name is Boost Streams, and welcome to a Nemesis showcase, guide, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of an early guide because obviously I'm somewhat low leveled, so I'm just going to be going over kind of the basics and less in depth in terms of math, builds, everything like that. But I will touch on matrices and things like that. But mainly we're going to be looking at Nemesis's kit, actually specifically her weapon Venus. So yeah, let's just go ahead and look at what her kit looks like. Venus is a Volt type weapon, and as you can see, these are the statistics right now. Its abilities are Shatter and Charge. So Shatter proficiency shows a weapon's basic capability of breaking shields, and enemies with shields can block 50% of the damage they receive. The greater the number, the faster the breaking of the target's shield. And then this is in PvP. We haven't quite reached PvP yet, so I'll skip over that for now. But once we get to PvP, I can make an updated version of this guide. If you guys want to see an updated version of this guide, can we please hit 25 likes on this video? Next up is Charge. Charge proficiency shows the basic efficiency that a weapon gains weapon charge. The greater the number, the faster the weapon charges. The weapon's discharge skill can be used upon getting 1000 weapon charge. And we will go over what the discharge skill is later. So this is a Volt type weapon, and for Volt, when the weapon is fully charged, the next attack will paralyze targets for 1 second and electrify them for 6 seconds, negating all buffs and dealing damage equal to 144% of attack. Targets can't receive any buffs for the next 6 seconds. This is the same description as every other Volt type weapon, besides some of the numbers. So for example, SR Volt weapons have 106% attack, I believe, but Nemesis's weapon has 144% attack. And then of course we have the Volt Elemental Resonance, which increases Volt attack by 15% and Volt resistance by 25%. And you can achieve this resonance by having 2 Volt weapons. For example, I have Dualium Stars and Venus in the same team. Advancements are basically constellations or potentials depending on which game you come from. Also, Venus is a support type weapon. That's what this plus means. It also means that it has some healing abilities. So let's first take a look at some of the abilities. So every weapon in Tower of Fantasy has a normal ability, actually multiple normal abilities, dodge abilities, skill abilities, and discharge abilities. Normal attack is multipliers for when you're on the ground, and you can have a chain of up to 5 attacks with these multipliers. Aerial Discharge actually has different multipliers. So funny enough, for example, the 5th attack deals more damage on the ground than in the air, but the 1st attack deals more damage in the air than on the ground. Just an interesting tidbit there. Maybe we can do some more in-depth testing and math later on. Finally, we have Forward Pursuit, which after the 2nd normal attack, hold the normal attack to trigger Forward Pursuit. And this shoots a laser-guided missile at the target, dealing damage up to 107.5% of attack, plus 101 flat attack. Then we have Dual Focus. Hold normal attack to charge a shot and release an electrified ball that explodes on hit, dealing damage equal to 118.4% of attack, plus 111 to nearby enemies. For people who come from Genshin, this is basically a charged attack, where you hold down the normal attack. Let's look at her dodge abilities. The dodge ability, dodge right before getting hit to trigger a Fantasia, reducing the speed of enemies within an area. Become immune to hit stun for 0.5 seconds while dodging. Next we have Twin Spinning Focus. Tap normal attack during the short perfect attack window to trigger a slowing magnetic field. Venus fires a charged orb that travels forward a set distance and explodes in contact with targets. Deal damage equal to 171.6% of attack plus 161 and generate a slowing magnetic field for 3 seconds, which reduces the movement speed and attack speed of all enemies caught within by 35%. Dodging will trigger a healing chain that heals nearby allies by 67.7% of the Wanderer's attack. For the next 10 seconds, a small healing chain will trigger every 2 seconds. So this is where we have the heal of the support type weapon, which heals nearby allies by 22.5% of the Wanderer's attack. Dodging grants 1 stack of healing chain enhance, which increases the effects of healing chains by 25%, stacks up to 5 times, and lasts for 30 seconds. Switching weapons will cancel this effect. And then finally for dodge we have Parallel Beams. Tap normal attack during the short perfect dodge window to trigger Parallel Beams. Venus fires a pair of parallel energy beams, dealing piercing damage equal to 171.6% of attack plus 161. And then we have another healing chain. I won't read the multipliers, you can kind of infer that. Then for the skill, this is the one weapon skill is called Pulse Lock, and Venus fires a guided missile that explodes on contact with enemy targets, dealing damage equal to 233.2% of attack plus 219, and knocking down targets. It has a 25-second cooldown. Finally, we have Discharge. This is called the Particle Beam Burst. This is the closest thing in Tower of Fantasy that we have to an ultimate, and this is when you switch to Venus after using another weapon. The Discharge skill charges up with every hit from another weapon while you're using another weapon. When weapon charge is full or Fantasia is triggered, switching to this weapon will clear all debuffs from the user and command Venus to fire a cross-shaped ray at the ground, creating an unstable area and reducing target's movement speed by 70% for 5 seconds. After a brief delay, unleash an electromagnetic burst that deals damage equal to 393.9% of attack plus 370. If you can tell, this is a lot bigger multiplier than any of the other attacks. Using a discharge attack will spawn one electrode near the enemy's position that attacks once every 1.5 seconds, dealing damage equal to 39.9% of attack plus 37. The electrode gains 100% of the Wanderer's stats, can be attacked or healed, and loses 3% of its max HP every second. Only one electrode can exist at any given time, and summoning a new electrode will replace the previous one. Next up, we have Venus's advancements, so constellations or potentials. So right now my Venus is at 0 stars, but when you activate 1 star, after using Pulse Lock or Particle Beam Burst, creates 1 electrode that immediately grants the user 5 stacks of Healing Chain Enhance. In addition, unleash a Healing Chain that heals nearby allies by 135% of the Wanderer's attack. 2 stars, increase the current weapon's base attack growth by 16%. 3 stars, every 6 seconds the electrode will unleash Ring Lightning, which deals damage equal to a maximum of 205% of attack in a target area. 4 stars, increase the current weapon's base attack growth by 32%. 5 stars, after using Pulse Lock, increases the Wanderer's attack by 5 plus number of electrodes times 5% for 25 seconds. 6 stars, up to 2 electrodes can be active at the same time. Summoning more electrodes will replace the ones furthest from the user. And next up we have matrices. So if we come here, we can look at the various matrix sets. And the one that I recommend at first, once you just have our matrices, which is what all of us have right now, is the standard operations set, which the 3-piece set increases damage dealt by Volt weapons by 6%. But of course, her best in slot matrices are going to be these Nemesis matrices specifically made for her. And what this does, it's called the life bridging set. And there's a 2-piece set and a 4-piece set. And in the 2-piece set, when a target is being healed, their Volt attack is increased by 8, 10, 12, 15% for 20 seconds. This effect does not stack, and only the highest level's effect is applied when obtained repeatedly. This works so well with her because she heals. So when she heals a target, it increases the target's Volt damage. When healing yourself or your electrode, the target of healing gains a charge of lightning. This is the 4-piece bonus. The next attack within 30 seconds will cast lightning upon the target, dealing Volt damage equal to 240, 300, 360, or 120% of Volt attack, and damage caused by electrodes is reduced by 50%. Cannot be triggered more than once in 10 seconds. Lightning charges do not stack. Only the highest level's effect is applied when obtained repeatedly. And then you ascend pieces to activate different buffs. So these are the buffs. I'm not going to go through reading all of these, but yeah, just know that this is her best matrix set. So let's go ahead and test out some of our abilities. We have a camp over here, actually. So this is her string of 5 basic normal attacks. That's a string of 5 right there. Next up, after 2 attacks, we can do a charged attack. So 1, 2, and then that's that ability. And then finally the aerial 5-string attack. And then the charge attack. We can hold this and then kind of snipe from a distance. So you can snipe over here. You can actually snipe people up on towers, but we're not going to show that right now. But yeah, that's essentially the normal attacks. And then her ability fires a honing missile. So you see the missile just kind of attack them there. And then there's her dodging ability. And you can see that we just got healed by the healing chain there. And then we'll dodge while pressing a directional key and see what that does. And then that's what happened when we dodge while pressing a directional key. Okay, so next we're going to take a look at the discharge ability. So once we do some attacks with this weapon or another weapon, we have it charged up, and then let's switch in to Venus. And as you can tell, that hits many times and does a shit ton of damage. And here's the electrode that she spawns. And then you can see the electrode is attacking him. Up until now, we only talked about her actual weapon, Venus, and her weapon can be equipped on any other character, but as a simulacra herself, Nemesis also has some really cool unique abilities. Now, these are achieved by awakening, and for awakening, you have to give her a gift. I don't have most of them unlocked yet, but yeah. Anyway, the abilities that you get are at 1200 awakening points, you get this trait called Nemesis Metamorphosis, and after summoning an electrode, deal volt damage equal to 60% of attack to all enemies within 30 meters of the electrode, and heal all allies within its range by 120% of attack. As you can tell, this seems like pretty broken. Obviously I haven't gotten to test it out yet, but just looking at these seem super broken. And then here we have Nemesis Sublimation, which just increases those multipliers, I believe. I'm not sure if it adds on to it or it replaces it. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like these are two separate traits. So that'll have to be something that we investigate in the future. So now that we've gone through an explanation of all of her skills, seen them in practice, let's go to an actual showcase. Now I haven't unlocked super hard content yet, but I'm going to try to do some of the hardest content that we have available to us and just showcase how good she is. I'm not going to commentate over the showcase. I'm just going to put some epic music over it. And yeah, see you guys soon. What do you think of Nemesis? Leave a comment in the comments down below. Personally, I think that she's amazing and she can help you clear any content in the game. Is she a must pull? Probably not. I don't think any characters are a must pull at this point. However, I would recommend pulling for her if you have the means to. If you want to support my channel, please hit the subscribe button, like this video, and thank you for watching. Peace.